It's been so long. So excited. Finally back online. It's super fun. I'm in a good mood. Everybody seems to be treating everybody somewhat decently today. Yay! Unfortunately, I just shut my music off by using YouTube. Let's see if I can get it back and still record.
How you doing, huh?
Couldn't have happened to a better man.
Couldn't have happened to a better man. It couldn't be different than it was. And you knocked in my memory like a chain. I'll say that the flowers will always be there in my heart. Like an old-fashioned movie, all of you playing a part.
Hi!
Wonder if I'll ever be so unafraid to walk to the river and turn around again. And you're wrapped in my memory like chains. Or I'll say that the flowers will always be there in my heart. Like an old-fashioned movie, I'll never forget your heart. I'll never forget your heart. Standing on that stage.
Mama wants to smoke, baby. Mama wants to smoke. So I'm gonna put you down. Judy! Hi! Judy, it's playing the same song that we left the last one on. Cause you're wrapped in my memory like chains. Woo! Remember now. Yes, you're only a memory now. Can't wait until. Hi, my beautiful. So good to see you. Each other again. Until we see each other again. And you're wrapped in my memory like chains. Let's see here. Are you smoking with me, Judy? This is is Sean Smith with the West Seattle Symphony. Just like me, a couple of years different.
But those lessons never learned. Did you know? The table in the French Quarter. She's always given, so I can't always make her laugh. But I'm proud to say, and I won't regret. Time spent laying by her side. Time spent laying by her side. In a dream like this must die. In a dream like this must.
All right. Wow, I just deleted somebody while I was live. Yay, I'm getting better at the trolls.
She had the time into the ceiling. A bad music coming and say no. It's a broken down feeling. She had the time into the ceiling. A bad music coming and say no. I wanna tell you that I love you, but does it really matter? I just can't stand to see you crying.
It's my kind of love. It's a kind of love song.
And this is my kind of love. It's a kind of love song. I used to treat you like a lady. Now you're a substitute teacher. This bottle's not ready, not ready. It's time to see. And I only make some money. So I'm trying to honey. You see, I'm disappointed. All the ends I want to get to do it.
Cause this is my kind of love. I'm going to tell you guys a little trick about me. I always have a toothbrush because I eat blueberries all the time and my teeth turn purple. So if you ever wonder what's what, that's what. I just kind of give them a quick. Blueberries totally mess with my teeth, but they're good for you. So anyways, I have somebody giving me a hard time about my yellow teeth. Like, people pick out really mean things to nitpick on you, and if you're streaming, it's like you try to make it at least fun or, you know, bearable. So Yeah. Let's do some. I keep dropping everything. Cause this is my kind of love. It's a kind of moves on. It's a kind that leaves me alone.
This was my last gig.
Wait, I'm so confused.
It's like a miracle.
Miracles happen.
Am I not live anymore? No, not live anymore.
Electricity flicked off all over the world.
Yesterday Ellie bought you a present. All my troubles seem so far away. Now it looks as though they're here to stay. Oh, I believe in yesterday.
Why did you write that?
I didn't write it. Paul McCartney wrote it. The Beatles.
Who?
John Paul.
Sorry, you guys. Let me see.
I never meant to cause you any sorrow.
I never meant to cause you any pain.
I only wanted one time to see you laughing. I only want to see you laughing in the purple rain.
Purple rain, purple rain.
Purple rain, purple rain. Purple rain, purple rain.
No,
Yeah.
no.
Only want to see you underneath the purple rain. And I never wanted to be your weekend lover.
No problem. Just trying to get you engaged.
I don't want to be some kind of friend.
Be good to yourself, my dear. You deserve it.
And I can never steal you from another. It's such a shame our friendship had to
No problem.
Purple rain,
purple rain.
You almost let me down.
Purple rain, purple rain. I'll smoke for you, William. I've been in the purple rain.
Honey, I know. Give it up, boy. Honey, I know. I'm changing it.
I've been sitting on my leg. It's completely asleep right now.
They say you need to reach out for something, and now he well, I say you need to I say you need to listen to your own heart.
Emma!
Your own heart, let it guide you to the purple rain.
Hey! Oh my goodness. Hi! How is the sound with the music and me and everything? Do I sound okay? Honestly, I'm super excited right now to see the two of you at the same time, plus some William. That's good. It's good. How's the sound? The music and me. Is it working?
Told me to be. I was lost.
Yesterday was Kurt Cobain's 25th anniversary of his suicide was yesterday. So I've been listening to a lot of Seattle stuff. Makes me feel better.
Tell me the world was the weather apart. All this
My lips are off.
I didn't know that I had a choice.
That's funny.
Give me something gold I can hold on to. Let me turn it into the brightest you. All the words we've been holding on so long. We've been holding on so long.
I bought a ton of these little pre-roll joints, but it's hard to keep them going. They go out a lot.
We've been holding on so long. I've been holding on so long. I've been holding on so long.
Excuse me.
Say he who rides upon me is the fairest one of them all.
Okay.
You're wrapped in my chain. You're wrapped in my
I think I'm gonna switch. I'm a nut. What kind of nut am I? You have to have loved the movie Dog Show, where they talk about nuts, pine nut, cashew, peanut. He goes through all the nuts. Do you remember that? It's the guy that, it was the couple that has the basset hound. Brazilian nut. Don't stand up. My dress is huge on me, you guys. Check out how much weight I've lost. Oh my gosh, I was watching this live that I did, I think yesterday. And, oh, thank you. It's our favorite color, purple. So I'm sitting there and I was like just doing my thing, right? And my robe's falling off on the top, but I didn't notice because I don't care usually because I'm not usually online. Whatever, for whatever reason. So Emma told me, she's like, fix your robe, you know? And I was like, oh shit. So I'm like holding onto my robe on the top while fully fucking chillaxing below the robe tie. It was like unbelievable Melissa moment. Unbelievable. I actually did go back. I made it. I think, Emma, I think you can look at it if you want. That's fine, but we'll just keep it between us for now. I'll just keep it in our own little book. We should get a stupid tricks going for streamers. That'd be kind of funny. Oh my gosh, I did jump. It's funny. That robe, I don't understand. It's so big. Why isn't it staying on? I share a bathroom, so I've always loved pajamas. I always have loved jammies and stuff, but I especially like them here. Oh, Gwen, hi. I saw your live. You did awesome. You did really, really well. Yep. Super cute. And the kids did really well too. It's really cute. The kid and the dog. You're so cute. You're like, oh, mama moments. Right? Let's see. Seems like I'm able to play Sean Smith right now without getting in trouble. Oh my gosh, this guy Sid, he needs to find a different avenue. I am not feeling it. Just ignore him.
And now they ain't my winner too. I know that ain't a part of the deal. We're through.
I'm going to go out and I'll come back in. I think it's not synced right. Thanks for telling me, Judy. I'll be right back.
It's just a matter of time. And it's just a matter of time. It's just a matter. And I'd love to share the cause. Butterfly. Reason why we need to fly high away. Yeah, 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 yeah. And it's just a matter of time. 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 Before we get back in the wheel. Before we get back in the wheel. Before we get back in the wheel.
Let's see if that's...
Before we get back in the wheel. And love, we ain't no need to the water. No matter how much I know it's all.
There we go.
Gotta change it up. What are you gonna do? It's right here in the moment. And everybody sing with me. It's just a matter of time. It's just a matter of time. Again. It's just a matter of time. It's just a matter of time. Before we get back in the wheel. Before we get back in the wheel. Before we get back in the wheel.
Baby, I was born this way. Baby, I was born this way.
Something about this place.
I did. Did it change? So if you go out and then come back in, that helps usually.
You and I.
I wish I could hear what it sounds like. So, I mean, when the static and all that shit, oh my gosh. Sometimes I go back and it's like, oh, that's horrible. How do I check on that? I love Lady Gaga. She's not on the edge. She's waiting for a moment of truth. Okay, good. Yay, Judy is helping me. Yeah. I can add you on. I love seeing you, but I like you to be happy and comfortable too, you know. But if you ever want me, like, I'm pretty cool usually getting off live and going private. Ooh, Adele. I wonder if you get in trouble for playing her. It was a perfect illusion. I love that so much. It wasn't love. It was a perfect illusion. It's a good one. Good one, good one, good one, good one. To break, trying to make the world seem better. Why are you scared, James? What's wrong? You're a wave. Baby, I just need one to say. Come on, why are you afraid? We're all waiting. Aww, Judy. I can't begin to tell you how much I care about you. It's so good to be back. I'm like on my best behavior. I really wish I could figure out what I did wrong.
touch me, don't be scared. Love me, please be sweet. Let me be the girl underneath
I need mama. I'm looking for a mama. My mama has a hard time taking care of me. She doesn't. So I'm not surprised that I'm drawn to you in your unconditional love. I'm just gonna ignore the trolls. Okay. It's so funny. It's almost like having kids. You know, when they get all like in the middle of the conversation. Adrian's cool. Hey, Adrian. Somebody wants to be added on. No. This guy's got like dead animals and a gun. I'm not gonna be adding you to it. I really love animals, so yeah. Aww, right back at you, Judy. Okay, this music sounds weird. Oh, Judy! Wow! Oh, wow. That's really intense. I grew up without a dad, so I finally found out after he passed away, his wife contacted me, and I found out that he was living like 20 minutes away down the street. It's unbelievable. And the last time I had seen him, I was 4 years old. This whole fucking time. I moved here in 2001, and this whole fucking time, he lives right by me. He's dead now. It's over, so. But it's very interesting, and there's a ton of similarities between us and my mother. My mother's very crossed into it too. They were kind of a lot of like when it came to art and connection and stuff. Anyways, he became very abusive, and that was that. So he used to drink. Yeah. Beat my mom up for making a fucking tuna sandwich for dinner. Anyways, don't get me started. Don't get me started.
Okay. I don't know if everybody knows about my history with Buenos Aires, Argentina. It's been 13 years since I've been here. I have an incredible relationship with this country. There's something magical about this place, and it's not tangible. Of course, I fell in love with the people. It's hard not to. They're not only beautiful to look at, but they have incredible spirit, and they're so warm and welcoming.
You guys and stuff,
Knowing
but
that
if
there are
I
parents
do, I'm afraid
there are many of them who have
it's a
slept on the
brand new
street
phone.
waiting
So
to
I
get a
don't
good
really know
place.
how to use it.
Knowing that we are going to be surrounded
Look.
by incredible love and energy. Once again, I feel like my eyes are open for the first time. I just feel an incredible sense of excitement and anticipation.
Excuse me. There we go. Yay! Cat power! Cat power! So, I haven't been following Madonna for quite some time. So, I'm put on Madonna's Sticky and Sweet tour. It's in HD. She doesn't fuck around. This is called The Sweet Machine. I don't know any of it. Hopefully it's fun. She's a good dancer. She's got like all these white lollipops. It's candy themed. All right, where's my nectar collector? There it is. Not really. Oh, it's a dab.
Say which flavor you like and I'll have it for you. Come on into my store, I got candy galore. Don't tell me you're not hungry, I've seen it before. I got turkeys you like, baby, and so much more. Get up on your feet, come on up to the dance floor. I got something so sweet, so sweet. Come on up to the front door, I can tell you here. All the special directions, stop moving your feet. Come on up to the beat. I'll be your one star, candy shop, everything that I got. I'll be your one star.
Aww.
Candy store, lollipop, at the store.
You'd be surprised the It's the settings, like the little disguises, the kitty cat. They totally take off time. If you can see though, they've shrunk my head, but they forgot the chin. Like they didn't do anything on the bottom, but it puts makeup on right away. It's funny. You go to work. It's super fun if you do video chat to mess around with the little settings and stuff. My computer doesn't let me do it, but now that I have this phone, I'm so proud of myself. I was really wanting to get an iPhone, you know, and that is like well over 1,000. So then I was like, okay, which one has the biggest battery? And he showed me this one. It's like Moto's 5 Plus, and it was like I got it for $185 out the door. Just bought it outright. So I could have bought 6 iPhones with the price of this one Droid. Fuck that, right? I've always had iPhones, or not always, but since I think I started getting the 3. That was my first iPhone, the iPhone 3. Then I went to a 5. Then I went to a 5S. Then I went to a 6S. No, 6 Plus. And now it doesn't work. It needs a new battery, I guess. Excuse me. Madonna's like singing about her raw sugar.
What's new, Buenos Aires? Girl, you wait too long, it'll be too late. Look down, here's something new. Raise up and a little more. It's time for you to celebrate. So, get up, get up. It's time. Your world, your life, your choice. It's time. Live on the beat.
You know, Judy, I grew up in the sun. I was totally into it. And after moving to Seattle, I'm not in the sun at all. Like I actually have olive skin. I tan like really, but I'm in Seattle now, so there's no sun, so to speak of. I noticed I went for a walk the other day and my face was kind of pink just from the little bit I got out there. Lulu Hill, what a cool name. I love your name, Lulu. Sweet.
That's what I'm talking about, Argentina! Say what you like, do what you feel. You know exactly who you are.
I think I need to watch Madonna when I'm by myself. Still a little bit of KP.
I used to bite my tongue and hold my breath, scared to rock the boat and make a mess. So I said quietly, agreed politely. I guess that I forgot I had a choice. I let you push me past the breaking point. I stood for nothing, so I fell for everything. You held me down, but I got up. Already brushing off the dust. You hear my voice, you hear that sound. Like thunder gonna shake through the crowd. You held me down, but I got up. Get ready, cause I've had enough. I see it all, I see it now. I got the eye of the tiger, dancing through the fire. Cause I am a champion, and you're gonna hear me roar. Louder than a lion, I am a champion, and you're gonna hear me roar. You're gonna hear me roar. Yeah, I'm falling from crashing through the light. Nobody goes tonight. I'm falling from This is how we do. This is how we do. This is how we do. In our road, six Silver Lake sun coming up our lady. Slow cooking pancakes, but my boy still loves so fresh as daisy. Painting from all night long, everything's on me and everything. Chanel this, Chanel that, hell yeah, all the girls been Chanel baby. It's no big deal. It's no big deal. It's no big deal. This is no big deal. This is how we do. Yeah, we do it like that. This is how we do. This is how we do. This is how we do. Yeah, we do it like that. This is how we do. This is how we do. This is back to all you people who want to bed with the 10. So waking up to the 2. Not me. This is how we do. Yeah, we do it like that. This is how we do what? Wait. No. Bring the beat back. That's right. Are we crazy? Living lives through drifting always pickets like ornaments. Comfortable living in the bubble. Comfortable we cannot see the trouble. So toys, your rose-colored glasses on, and audio. Turn up your favorite song. Dance to the distortion. Turn it up, keep it on repeat. Stumbling around like a wasted zombie. Yeah, we think we're free. Drink is one Sunday. We're all okay. To the rhythm, to the rhythm, to the rhythm. Favorite song. Turn it up, keep it on repeat. Turn it up, it's a favorite song. Turn it down, it's a distortion. Turn it up, keep it on repeat. Stumbling around like a wasted zombie. Yeah, we think we're free. Drink is one only. We're all okay. To the rhythm, to the rhythm, to the rhythm.
All right. I just did this super fast KP and thought of you. Turn it up, it's your favorite song. Dance, dance, dance.
Place where the grass is really
You.
wild. The in the water. Gin juice. Underneath the palm trees.
I love me some KP.
You could travel nowhere, but nothing comes close to the golden house. Once you party with us, you'll be falling in love.
Keys on top.
Sun kiss is so hot from your boots and
She's very creative. I personally would love it if I could shoot with cream out of my breasts like her.
You girls,
Could you imagine?
wish you all could be California girls.
And then Snoop's in there. I mean, shit, Snoop.
Hang my sags and watch you shine away. You tune me.
How do I sound? Does it sound okay? That was then and this is now. This is the part of me that you're never gonna ever take away from me. This is the part of me that you're never gonna ever take away from me. Thank you. Sometimes I'll go back and watch them and it's like, oh my goodness. Okay, so Emma, I have a question for you. And anybody else who wants to answer. I want to replace an iPad Pro 2, but in Android. Like, what would be the Android version of that? Because it seems like whenever I search tablets, like nothing exciting comes up. Is what's wrong with me? I want to get some tablets. A tablet. I also want to get a Fitbit. I really wanted to get an iPhone X and then a watch, and then, you know, and it's like, after looking into it, it's just so much money. Android sucks. It does, doesn't it? It does. I think so too. But fuck, I could get 6 of them for the same price. I don't know. Okay, I'm so torn. On July 10th, I got a brand new iPad Pro 2. It was so nice, and I fucked it up. But to replace it, it's so spendy. But I guess if it's worth it. Yeah, I guess like the reason, I just figured at least I can fuck around with it and learn how the format works and stuff. You know, I love new gadgets. I really, really, really miss my iPad though. My iPad Pro 2. I'd never had one before. I just had it, and it's super sweet. Like the pictures and stuff, the video, everything's amazing. See, that's how I feel. But I'm just trying to have a good attitude about it. You know, seeing that like right now I'm not in the most cautious place when it comes to my gadgets. I fuck them up. I do. But yeah, I just want to crawl up in my bed with a nice cup of tea and my iPad Pro 2, and I just want to write, you know? Just want to write and create, and I really miss it. Yeah. I told you I got this new phone. I walked out of there. I paid outright. It was $185. And I walked out of there with a phone. It's not my last iPad, it's like, you know, you can use your thumb, and I know all the tricks of the new one. Oh wait, there's a brand new one that just came out, right? That's a good idea, actually. Every day. No problem. Right on. Okay, I'm gonna do a little dabadoo then. Do a little nectar collecting. I would like to collect some nectar. I've come. We can be the, instead of the couch trolls, we can be the nectar collectors. I've come to collect your nectar. That's kind of, I don't know. We better get that a little bit more established, what kind of nectar we're collecting. Exactly. It's so much fun. I can't believe it. So, it seems like with ganja, it's a learning curve. It's always a learning curve, right? Because now I'm going into the dispensaries and everybody's buying up everything that I used to buy. Now they know. Like if you get that lotion and it's just coconut oil, you can eat that and cook with it. It's like 300 grams for $15. But now it's all gone. Or the distillate was $20. But hold on. So this stuff that I got, I want to say it was like 40 something. But it came with 2.5s. You want wax? Indica, wax. I need some granddaddy perp. I'm liking the purple Urkel. And I'll see Tyler. Please, you know what you're falling apart. Baby, do you dare do this? Because I'm coming at you like a Me too. That's a good one. It was made in Washington too. I wonder why they don't let us see both. Is that like, what's up with that? It's trippy. It's like your friends are on your page, my friends are on my page. I don't see any of my friends other than you. Kiss me with your love and fill me with your poison. Take me, take me, be a victim. You're an alien. Aw. Well, hi there, buddy. I can't see you, but. You're cleaning? Good for you. Very good for you. I should bring my phone in the kitchen and do dishes. I really need to clean my sink.
This was never the way I planned, not my intention. I got so brave, drink in hand, lost my discretion. It's not what I'm used to. Just wanna try you on. I'm curious for you. Cherry chopstick. I kissed a girl just to try it. But my boyfriend don't mind it. It felt so wrong, it felt so right. Tell me I'm in love tonight. I kissed a girl and I
Wow, the dabs are so much stronger than the flour. The force is strong. I finished my other one. I mean, it's in my little thing. You can't really see it. See? Unconditional.
Did I get too close? Oh, did I almost see what's really on the inside? All your insecurities, all that dirty laundry.
Yeah, it's nice to have your little smoke area tidy. Beautified. A little cleaner. Good job. I love you unconditionally.
You're yes and you know you're in and you're out, you're up and you're down, you're wrong when it's right, it's back when it's right, we fight, we make, we kiss, we make out. You wanna stay home, you wanna go, you're hot and you're cold, you're yes and you know you're in and you're out, you're up and you're down. I struggle, I just belong to you. I should sleep even though it's night, 'cause I know better, baby. I write it, you erase it, repeat it. What would really do to be all So I take a deep breath and I say distress. A beautiful brain with a pretty face. Yeah, a baby doll with every face. Yeah, a hot little hurricane. Lemons off, but I'm still a boss. Yeah, red lipstick, but still so raw. Yeah,
Yes.
I can be sad and I can be the sun. Yeah, smell like the rose and my pierce like the thorn. Yeah, karate chopping the cliches and was all in my dress.
Hi. Hey, Bubby. Aww.
Summer after high school when we first met, we make out in your Mustang to Radiohead. And on my 18th birthday, we got matching tattoos.
Smells like propane now.
Used to steal your parents' liquor and climb to the roof. Talk about a future like no clue. Never planned that one day I'd be losing you.
In another life, I could keep my
We keep our promises be us against the world.
in another life.
I would make you stay, so I don't have to stay. The one that got away, the one that got away.
I got a lot of the propane in the air. I didn't want to light it yet. What time is it? It's 5:57 p.m.
I would make you stay, so I don't have to say you were the one that got away, the one that got away.
I wonder where the moon is. I've been thinking about water a lot. I'm out. Out of water.
Without darkness, there's no light. Without baby, I just need one to say.
Okay, sounds good. Ooh, yum. I had a good nap, Emma. I did. I love coconut water. Sounds so good.
I don't speak like can if you like. Put your paws on can if you like. Don't be a bride, just be a queen. I wanna take a ride and just go stick. Let's play a love game. Let's play a love
Oh,
game.
fuck yeah. It's this one.
But if I do, I'm not to blame. It's complicated and stupid. Got my ass squeezed by sexy Cupid. Gets here, wants to play. I love game. I love game. I love game. Love game.
One, two, three, 4, 5, 6, 7. I have 7 pre-rolls left. I am a coconut. Coconut's so delicious. Absolutely. Coconut um, oil is really good for you. I put it on my skin. It also works really good for deodorant. Poker face, poker face. She's all naked in the video and she has all these men climbing on her.
That's all it's true. See that picture of you, it's so magical. We be so fantastical. I'm your biggest fan. Follow you till you love me.
Coconut water's delicious. Coconut oil is delicious. Paparazzi. Coconut. Do you, I bet you know what I'm talking about when I say the skin trip lotion in the, the coconut skin trip. And then also there's the skin trip lip gloss or chapstick. It's coconut. I'm feeling pretty fucking gay. It's nice. Nice. Feeling good. I'm gonna do another bone hit. I need to find my
Hello, baby, you found I can't hear a thing. I have done no service to the kind of busy. What did you say? Oh, you're breaking up on me. Sorry, I cannot hear you. I'm kind of busy.
Yeah, I've had it. I've had God's gift. It's good. It's right here, actually. That's God's gift. Woo! I want to get some like top shelf popcorn flour. Little trees.
It's the new black.
Yeah, I love it. Because it's just perfect size for smoking. Ooh, very nice. Emma, RSO with Sentinel would help you back for sleeping. If you took some of that at night, it would make you sleep and it would help your back. I bet. And or other things, you know. Blue mango kush. Gosh, I have purple Urkel. I'm actually going through them quite fast. Look, that's all I got. This is all I got left. Oh. 7 grams. 7 grams. I got that for $3 a gram. So 21. Me too. I like purple Urkel also. It's yummy. Baby, I was born this way. Born this way. Uh-oh. When that happens over here, it's like there's so much cat hair and stuff, you know. They always they would spill my crumble. Everything as long as it's free. I want your love. I want your love. What? Exactly. That's exactly it. It's just like, nah, that's. I don't.
Don't call me Gaga. I've never seen one like that before. Don't look at me like that. Fashion baby, work it, move that bitch crazy. Walk, walk. Fashion baby, work it, move that bitch crazy. Walk, walk. Fashion baby, work it, move that bitch crazy. Walk, walk. Fashion baby, work it, bitch, work it, bitch. Great bitch. Great bitch. Great bitch. Don't look at me like that. Work it, great bitch. Great bitch. Great bitch.
Yeah. Is it? Oh. I know. He told me, fuck you, and then said hi in Messenger. Sounds like something I would do. Fuck. It's like.
Poker face, poker face. I won't tell you that I love you, kiss and hug you, 'cause I'm loving with my muffin. I'm not lying, I'm just stunning with my love be winning. Just like a chicken in a casino, take your bait before I pay you out. I promises. Let this hand cause I'm up. I've had a little bit too much.
Is it like that Sid? I think it's got.
Where are my keys? I left my phone.
That's so weird. I don't even remember shit like that anymore. It's just like I forget about the weird shit. Huh. Because I have had this guy lurking around me since I got back on. And he's got like, I think I want to say he has some swim trunks on, no shirt.
You love him. Capital H-I-M. He ate my heart, capital H-I-M.
This guy doesn't like quit. It's fine. Okay, that's why it's probably chilled. This is a different guy then. I was just thinking if like Lady Gaga has babies, they'd be so cute, little baby Gagas. Baby Gagas. She takes all those rides on that disco stick. She's gonna get that.
I wanna kiss you.
But if I do, I might miss you, baby.
It's complicated and stupid. Got my ass squeezed by sexy Cupid. Guess he wants to play. I'm not gay. Hold me and let me. Just wanna touch you for a minute. Maybe 3 seconds is enough for my heart to quit. Some fun, this beat is sick. I wanna take a ride on a disco stick. Don't think too much, just bust that kick. I wanna take a ride on a disco stick. Let's play a love game. Do you want love or you want fame? Are you in that game? Don't a love game. Let's play a love game. Do you want love or you want fame? Are you in that game? Don't a love game. That boy is a monster. There ain't no reason you and me should be alone
Tonight, yeah,
baby. Tonight, you should take me home
tonight. Tonight, yeah, baby. Tonight, yeah, baby. Tonight.
Just be a queen. Don't be a drag, just be a queen. Don't be a drag, just be a queen. You a monster. Don't be a drag, just be a queen. Don't be a drag, just be a queen. Don't be a drag, just be a queen. Just put your paws up. I do the baby, so cool, I'm baby. I do the baby, so cool, I'm baby. I'm your big fan, I'm all you until you love me. I'm romantic, baby, there's no one to do. I know that I'll be baby, we was chasing down until you love me. I'm romantic.
Music is a really important part of the show. Rigo took a tremendous
Lady Gaga is known for thinking outside the box. Who could forget the time when she showed up on the red carpet with a dress made out of raw meat? The gown was a powerful political statement and not just a trick to get media attention. And that's what makes Gaga so unique and why we absolutely love her. But it seems like Nicki Minaj must secretly be in love with Lady Gaga because she's copied her on more than one occasion. Do you think Nicki's being a total copycat, or is it all just a big coincidence? Make sure you watch this video until the end to find out if Nicki's trying to steal Lady Gaga's swag. Big eyes. Big eyes have become so trendy that women from all over the world are embracing this dramatic look. But no one does big eyes better than Gaga herself, or so we thought. The Grammy Award winner had a pair of big anime-looking eyes in her Bad Romance video. The effect was computer generated, but fans are going gaga over the look and doing anything in their power to recreate it. Luckily, circle contact lenses can be ordered online and are eerily similar to Lady Gaga's look, but it's obviously trending among music stars since Nicki Minaj was also seen sporting exaggerated eyes. Maybe she was merely paying homage to Gaga, but whatever the case may be, Nicki's video Stupid Ho shows the rapper sporting the same big eyes Lady Gaga used in her video. Fans were quick to accuse Nicki of stealing Gaga's style, but these days everyone copies everyone, even hairdos. Speaking of which, if you thought
That was
Nicki
so
was
nice
done
having
borrowing from
that.
Gaga, guess
Felt
again.
so good.
Big blonde updo. Why are we kidding ourselves? These totally successful women are obviously borrowing ideas the way some of us borrow our sisters' clothes. And Lady Gaga and Nicki Minaj are both in an industry where it's pretty normal to channel other artists' style and make them your own. Besides, Gaga herself has found inspiration in other musicians like the Queen of Pop, Madonna. But you don't hear anyone ranting about that, do you? She's truly a unique artist, but fans are starting to notice that there are too many similarities between Gaga and Nicki, and we have to agree. In fact, there are a number of times where Nicki textbook copied Gaga's style, like when she sported her iconic big blonde updo. Now, it's not that Gaga invented blonde hair or anything, but her big blonde updos were basically cloned by Nicki. Maybe Nicki took inspiration from Gaga. Perhaps she's her fashion idol. And honestly, we don't see anything wrong with that. But if you ask Nicki, she'd probably roll her eyes and tell you how much she hates being compared to Gaga. Now that's a bit ironic, right? Mega crazy outfits. After bursting into the music industry and into our hearts, Nicki Minaj has become a force to be reckoned with. But some of us could swear that Nicki had walked into Gaga's dressing room and stole a few of her dresses. And that's a pretty strange coincidence. Gaga spends a considerable amount of time designing and developing unique concepts and outfits, so we really don't understand how Nicki was able to wear almost the exact same clothes as Gaga. Take the skin-tight jumpsuits they once sported, for example. Both Nicki and Gaga have amazing curves and look absolutely stunning in this dramatic style. But if you remove a few key pieces, some embellishments, and Nicki's accessories, you clearly see how similar these outfits were. One thing they do have in common is that these music stars are certainly not afraid to shock their fans and naysayers. So we're not ready to admit that Nicki's stealing Gaga's look, at least not yet. Mirror style. Nicki Minaj and Lady Gaga have worn elaborate costumes throughout their careers, and they didn't do it alone. Nicki has worked with Garo Sparrow, the designer responsible for her one-of-a-kind outfits. But Nicki seems to get inspired by Gaga's more relaxed and casual outfits too. It seems that Nicki isn't just stealing Gaga's onstage looks, but her off-day looks as well. Of course, Lady Gaga's casual outfits can look pretty dramatic, especially for anyone who's not in the music industry. So they've obviously got the confidence to rock any outfit. Well, they do say that good artists copy and great artists steal, right? Album art. But just when you thought that the eerie coincidences between Nicki and Lady Gaga were over, we dug up something that's pretty interesting. Nicki's the kind of role model who teaches women that they can be whoever they want to be, and so is Gaga. But their music, specifically their album art, reflects just how fierce they are. There are a million ways an artist can portray their power on an album cover, and yet Nicki has allegedly chosen to honor Lady Gaga's album art on occasion. Of course, if you asked her, she'd probably deny it, but some of her album art is eerily similar to Gaga's Born This Way album. Maybe Nicki should create a new album titled Gaga Reloaded. Don't you agree? But in the music industry, there's no such thing as unique. Everyone's fashion and sense of style is highly influenced by different artists. Some fans have even argued that if you called Nicki out for copying Gaga, then you'd have to get upset with Gaga for copying artists like Patti LaBelle, Billy Idol, and Grace Jones. But have you noticed any similarities in Nicki and Gaga's music videos? Music videos. Maybe you've noticed that some of the scenes you've seen on Nicki's music videos are starting to feel like a deja vu. Well, that's probably because you've already seen them in Lady Gaga's handsomely unique music videos. While some say that everyone's inspired by somebody else, it takes a lot of planning, storytelling, and designer costumes to pull off a great music video. So sometimes it might seem simpler to just look at someone else's material and draw inspiration from them. Hey, if it worked for them, it's going to work for you, right? But there's a fine line between inspiration and textbook copying someone. Like the time when Nicki seemingly ripped off Lady Gaga's bathtub scene. In her Married the Night video, Lady Gaga is dancing on the edge of the tub while black eyeliner runs down her face. Then Gaga uses a brush to dye her hair blue and then dumps a bucket of water on her head. Now, in Nicki Minaj's I Am Your Leader video, we see the rapper sporting a neon green wig and thigh-high glittery boots that dangle out of a tub full of bubbles. While the lyrics are definitely different, the bathtub scene was pretty identical. Pink curly wigs. Of course, Lady Gaga isn't the only artist who's a major fan of wigs. Plus, they were invented long before she was even born. But she is heavily involved in art and fashion. But Gaga has always been a rebel when it comes to personal style. Remember that time in 2010 when Gaga wore a spectacular Philip Treacy lobster hat? How about that time that she wowed us all with her cigarette-covered sunglasses? Say what you want about Gaga, but this girl has style. Aside from eclectic and pretty out-there outfits, Gaga is a huge fan of pink wigs. But apparently, so is Nicki Minaj, who started sporting them around the same time Lady Gaga did. This may or may not be a mere coincidence. We'll let you be the judge of that. The results made quite a statement. But maybe Nicki was just looking for a new do for one of her many personalities. Alter egos. Some artists have to put up with a lot of the stress and challenges that come with live performances. But if you ask Nicki how she copes with it, she'll probably tell you that her alter egos are a huge help. She has a bunch of people living inside her head, or so she claims. There's Child, a creepy little girl who's appeared in her music video. She has yellow lipstick and freckles and can curse like a sailor. Then there's Barbie, who appeared in Nicki's Super Bass video. She's high-pitched and perky and loves everything pink. There's also Gangsta Mole, who came out in Nicki's Come On a cone and these in your trap songs. This one may be closest to Nicki because Gangsta Mole is pretty wicked and loves to wear couture streetwear. But Gaga herself has a couple of personalities too, like her drag alter ego, Jill Calderone. Then there's the cutesy Candy Warhol who wears a blonde hair bow. So you never really know if you're talking to the real Nicki or the real Gaga. But is every artist relying on alter egos, or is it just a Gaga and Nicki thing? Queens of controversy. It's safe to say that these two ladies have a lot in common, but we're honestly very impressed with the way they stirred the pot with their bold fashion choices. From crazy wigs to wacky outfits, this is just one of the ways that Nicki and Gaga made a name for themselves. Remember the time that Nicki wore a head-to-toe leopard print one-piece with a Bride of Frankenstein wig? Nicki really shocked everyone at the Grammy Awards when she showed up in a Red Pope-inspired outfit, but from the neck up, she looked more like Little Red Riding Hood. And honestly, all those outfits were so Lady Gaga. As a matter of fact, Nicki even sported a stuffed animal gown that was almost an exact replica of Lady Gaga's Hello Kitty stuffed animal dress. Needless to say, the shallow singer is no stranger to controversial outfits either. There was the time she dressed up in a meat dress to the VMAs. Many people weren't sure what she was trying to accomplish with this, so Gaga explained on Ellen's daytime talk show that she was protesting the military's don't ask, don't tell policy. But while Nicki has yet to don a meat dress, it's clear she's been wearing one too many Gaga-inspired outfits. Acting career. Clearly, both ladies are a triple threat, but Lady Gaga's not just about jaw-dropping fashion. She's wowed us on stage with her musical talent and bold looks, but she's also dipped her toes in the acting pool. Her performance in the remake of A Star is Born earned her an Oscar for Best Original Song for Shallow. The movie wasn't about her life, but there was one slight comparison. Gaga played Ali, a singer-songwriter, which is something she can totally relate to. But before that, Gaga also appeared on television as a vampire-type character named This in American Horror Story Hotel. And given how many records Gaga has broken over the years, we wouldn't be surprised if we see her doing bigger and better things on the big screen soon. But Nicki Minaj is no slacker either. Apparently, Nicki's following in Gaga's footsteps yet again. But to be fair, Nicki appeared as Drea in the comedy film Barbershop The Next Cut in 2016. So it's not like it's a big surprise that she's interested in acting. She also used her voice for more than just singing on more than one occasion. You'll get to hear her soon in the upcoming The Angry Birds movie too. So there you have it. Nicki may have borrowed a few ideas from Lady Gaga, but it's obvious that they're both queens in their own right. Do you still think Nicki's stealing ideas from Gaga? Let us know in the comments below. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to subscribe to The Taco. Elevator press P for the penthouse. Top those and we break like tacos. Roscoe's on his knees with a snot nose. The collaboration with Mariah Carey, I think, was very mutually beneficial. For Mariah, working with someone like Nicki gives her a little more of an edge, a little more street credibility, and makes her seem younger, maybe cooler. The same kind of reason Madonna is constantly collaborating with young artists. On the other hand, for Nicki, at that time, she was not a mainstream success. So working with someone like Mariah Carey raised and elevated her profile as well. So I think for both of the women, it was a very mutually beneficial relationship.
I think with Mariah Carey reaching out to Nicki, although she's an established superstar, multiple Grammys, number ones, she has to keep having this dynamic where she has to be hot and now and in the know and be cool and everything. And so, she was reaching out to Nicki for help. And I think from there, if people didn't buy into the fact that she was about to blow up, at that moment, we have kind of one of the most iconic singers in U.S. history reaching out to the young hip hop girl. That was a moment that kind of cemented the fact that, this thing's about to be huge.
And with this more widespread exposure came a recognition of just how unique this newcomer was. Now a very different artist than the young MC from the Come Up DVDs, Nicki had developed several distinctive characters in her music and appearances, and these alter egos will become key to her growing appeal. Well, for most pop stars, you think about like Britney Spears or Christina Aguilera, they are themselves the character that you're watching. With Nicki Minaj, you are watching a variety of different people. You have Harajuku Barbie, you have Martha Zelansky, you have Roman Zelansky, who's a gay, angry man who lives inside of her. You have the Martha character who has a British accent. It's a wide range of personalities and characters. I think as talented as she is as a rapper, Nicki is first and foremost a performer.
It's interesting, like the Posse record is so popular in hip hop. You take a song and you have so many different personalities coming into the song. And while Nicki Minaj has benefited from those type of songs because she's appearing on so many of them, she really doesn't.
Nicki Minaj, a musical and cultural phenomenon unlike any other. Glamorous, outrageous, eccentric, and controversial, in her brief career she has revolutionized the role of women in hip-hop and been transformed from a unique urban artist to a global superstar.
I think Nicki really fills a void in the market for a really sassy, strong female voice in the rap community. It wasn't until I think Nicki emerged on the scene that we realized there had been such an absence of someone like her.
Part of the way that Nicki Minaj has been able to carve out space for herself in hip hop is to create this style in which she moves between pop, hip hop, and R&B. She is such a provocateur, not only in terms of her sound and her style, but in terms of her look, in terms of her fashion sense, in terms of the way that she presents herself visually.
Her talent makes her an exceptional rapper. The fact that she can create good songs makes her a star. But her style and the way she looks and how she packages it and delivers everything, that's what makes her an icon.
Yes! I finally got it back. Whoop! Super excited.
Light up movie night with free movies and TV on Vudu. Watch on all your favorite devices. Anytime, anywhere. Over 8,000 free titles to brighten your screen and your mood. Go crazy with free movies and TV on Vudu.
If you're looking for the best trade show display options available, go with Godfrey Group. We offer both portable and custom display options. We pride ourselves on being customer focused, and our account managers are available to answer every call and walk you through your options. We work with everyone from mom and pop shops to Fortune 500 businesses. We have the resources and personnel, including in-house designers, to
Got the
tailor each
Simboxy
trade show display
charm
to your needs. Whether your
last
need
month.
is for a 10 by 10 booth, large custom exhibit, we do it all. Unlike other companies, we don't offer an either-or service, but instead can combine portable and custom elements to produce the layout that's right for you. We also offer free 3D design renderings so that you can see how your graphics and branding will look on your display and help you visualize the layout of your booth. To learn more about building your trade show display with us, call 800-789-9394 or visit godfreygroup.com.
Oh my goodness.
When Nicki Minaj emerged from the underground hip-hop scene in late 2009, she took the world by storm. A curvaceous MC with razor-sharp delivery, she was a totally new breed of female rapper whose unique talents and outrageous persona quickly propelled her to superstardom.
One of the most interesting things about Nicki's relationship to hip-hop, and there are a lot of interesting things about it. She's inside and outside hip-hop at the same time. She's very, very different from any other rapper that you can name. The use of characters, voices, the use of costumes, the use of theatricality. Nobody else is doing it this way, in this style. Nobody else is this challenging.
In a pop world dominated by artists playing it safe, through her rise from the underground to the mainstream, Nicki Minaj represents a far more formidable and extreme figure. Yet behind the crazed characters and the bizarre wardrobe lies a very focused and determined woman.
I think Nicki Minaj knows exactly what she's doing. She wears what she wears to create a headline, to make her different. She knows what makes a hit record. She knows what doesn't. She knows how to manipulate the media. She knows how to manipulate social media. She's
definitely on my best behavior.
She knows the industry inside out and back to front and plays it to her own advantage.
But it wasn't always this way. Although she's now the undisputed queen of American hip-hop, she's gone through a number of significant changes since her humble childhood.
Nicki Minaj was actually born Anika Mirage, a slightly different name, and she was born in Trinidad and Tobago, not in America, which is what a lot of people think. She lived with her grandmother until the age of 5 because her mom and dad were trying to make a new life in America, particularly in Queens, New York. They often flew back to see her, but she was raised by her grandmother until the age of 5. At 5, they collected their daughter and her 2 siblings, and they moved to New York. Nicki had a very troubled upbringing. You know, she has talked openly about the fact that her father was a drug addict. You know, this was the 80s. This was the era of crack cocaine, and her family suffered. She said there were times they would come home and the furniture would be missing because he had sold it to support his habit. At one time, he even tried to kill her mother by setting the house on fire. It was a disruptive and dangerous time. All of these things as a child went into, I think, a lot of what we see today. One of the things that Nicki is so famous for is creating all of these different characters and personas, which is very similar to what a lot of children do when they're in difficult situations and they fantasize themselves out of it. I think Nicki almost has a split personality, and some of that definitely came from some of those very difficult experiences in her childhood.
Despite these difficult years, Nicki managed to overcome her family's problems, and in the late 90s enrolled at LaGuardia High School, a renowned institution that would develop her artistic abilities and nurture her talent.
Nicki Minaj's time at LaGuardia High School was deeply influential to the development of her career. As much as she's a great MC and rapper, she's also an actress. And I think the two things go hand in hand. And while she was at LaGuardia, she studied acting. She had attempted to try to get in the school as a singer, but I think she lost her voice the day of the audition. And so she ended up being accepted to the school as an actor. This is not just a kind of casual school. This is one of the most important performing arts schools in the entire country, and you could even say in the entire world. It was mythologized in 1980 for Alan Parker's film Fame. So that's how most people know of the school before it was actually called LaGuardia High School. And it's known as a place where some of the most exciting and culture-defining artists of our time have come from. So Robert De Niro went there, and Jennifer Aniston went there, and so on. And Nicki Minaj's time there was really spent developing her acting abilities as well as her singing abilities and being part of a community of like-minded artists.
I think Nicki's time at LaGuardia was very influential on her career now as an MC. She has a very talented skill set as a lyricist, but what makes her very unique is kind of her theatrical delivery, you know, the faces and everything she does with and the voices and the cadences and the inflection. And I think that's a direct background of you know, her drama experience and everything. And without having gone to LaGuardia and without meshing that music and drama background, you know, I don't know if she'd necessarily be what she is today.
Nicki has said that in rapping, every song is a performance and every song is a chance for her to inhabit a different character. And she really does that. She's a very talented rapper, but she's also a performance artist. And I think with Nicki, everything is a performance piece, from the character she inhabits to the persona, to the costumes, to the voice, to the accent. It's much more than a song.
After graduating from LaGuardia, Nicki briefly landed a role in a minor play, but soon grew disillusioned with failed auditions and a lack of interest from casting directors. Determined to continue pursuing a creative life in New York, she gave up on acting and began to take notice of the sounds from the streets around her.
New York is the home of hip hop. Hip hop started in New York in the early 1970s, mid 1970s. Hip hop is really a music performance culture that consists of 4 different aspects. You've got MCing or rapping, you've got DJing, you've got graffiti, you've got breakdancing, and New York was the epicenter for this exciting performance culture that happened in the mid-1970s. It was really started by young, disenfranchised, working class or poor Black and Latino youth who merged these different performance traditions together and created a style that hadn't been heard before, which was hip hop. And Nicki Minaj, as a Trinidadian immigrant, she grew up in Trinidad and then she came to New York when she was about 5 years old. She came to New York at a really essential time in the development of hip hop culture.
She came up in a time when New York kind of had the baton for hip hop with Nas and Jay-Z, Wu-Tang Clan. All the leading MCs in hip hop at the time were from New York, and I think that kind of shaped her rhyme style in particular. She has a very aggressive rhyme style. And, you know, although she's very playful with her schemes and her pattern, you could tell the genesis of, you know, her flow and her cadence is you know, originates from New York.
By 2002, she became a member of the rap group The Hoodsters. Going by the name Nicki Minaj, she honed her skills and quickly demonstrated that she had the potential to go solo. Only 2 years later, Nicki was performing her first sold-out live show. In the audience was Dirty Money Records boss Big Fendi, who was blown away by her raw talent and immediately offered her a recording contract. Shortly afterwards, she made the first of many appearances on the label's promotional DVD series, The Come Up.
The Come Up DVDs were extremely important to the development of Nicki Minaj's career. In these DVDs, you see her rapping. She's got dark hair, very different than the kind of multicolored, brightly hued hair that we'd see later. She's an amazing talent, even then in these early DVDs.
They call me Nicholas, sales defined as ridiculous. I beg your pardon, meet me at the drop, get the #1 draft. I'm New York pick, and now I'm rules like the dudes on the New York Knicks. Check it, I'm overseas.
For all of her theatrics and the characters and things like that, at the very root of it, she can rhyme. And even further, like, she could spit, you know what I mean? It's not a boisterous Nicki, it's not a theatrical Nicki. Her hair isn't dyed, anything. There's none of these outfits, anything. It's just New York swagger. She's spitting, she's sassy, she's in your face. And I don't think that hip hop kind of seen an MC like that in a while, coming from the female side.
Mama, stop faking, talking about what you got, you ain't got Nathan. And you're not faking, you're not my taste. No, get out of my face. I play the top like 8 strings on your MySpace.
You get a glimpse of the talent and the potential that's going to later develop, but I don't think anybody watching the DVDs at the time knew exactly what kind of lyricist and performer that she was going to be. And I don't even know if she knew that, because basically she grabbed the brass ring and decided to carve out a space for herself in hip hop that nobody had ever done before, in a way that no one had ever done before. And so you don't know that from those DVDs, but you get a sense of the talent that's ready to explode.
And that talent was noticed by another artist featured on the Come Up DVDs, Lil Wayne. A high-profile MC who was just beginning to achieve mainstream popularity, he would become a key figure in Nicki's rise to prominence.
As she participated in these DVDs, Wayne really got a sense of her talent and her ability, and by the end signed her to his own record label and decided to put his considerable influence behind her in an attempt to launch her and make her a star.
Lil Wayne is an American rapper, one of the most successful rappers of the early 21st century. And while his initial work was not as successful as his later work, when he started to release albums like The Carter and The Carter 3 and so on, he became rap's biggest MC. In 2007, 2008, at the time in which Nicki Minaj's career was just sort of getting ready to kick off, Lil Wayne was certainly the biggest rapper in the music industry and also considered one of the biggest artist entrepreneurs with his label, Young Money, because he had signed Drake, who's also one of the big hip hop artists. And Young Money was positioned at that time to be able to break artists in a way that very few other record labels had been able to break artists. So when Young Money signed Nicki Minaj, there was a lot of promise there and a lot of possibility for the future.
Between 2007 and 2009, Nicki issued a number of digital mixtape releases through Young Money that built her a significant underground following. By 2010, she was primed for the big time. and before launching her solo career, began to appear as a guest on a number of other artists' records, including R&B vocalist Robin Thicke and multi-million selling superstar Mariah Carey.
Nikki was appearing as the MC on everybody's record. She was everywhere, and everyone was just like, who is this talent?
I think Nicki's early collaborations, particularly when she was working with Robin Thicke, Mariah Carey, Trey Songz, they were all established stars. You know, in the case of Mariah Carey, she's an uber superstar, right? And Nicki was still rising, and she's on the come up. But, you know, she'd done a series of mixtapes that were very popular. Her profile was rising. The affiliation with Lil Wayne was being made clear. She was the rising hot star. And traditionally in hip hop, that's usually the guy. It's usually a guy that does that. It's Lil Wayne who's done it. Jay-Z had a moment where he did it. Drake had it. And, you know, there's never really been a female MC who kind of had that rising star status where everybody wanted them on their records and they couldn't get enough of them.
Styling on them big B's with the big out. Elevator press P's for the penthouse. Top those and we break like tacos. Roscoe's on his knees with a snot nose.
The collaboration with Mariah Carey, I think, was very mutually beneficial. For Mariah, working with someone like Nicki gives her a little more of an edge, a little more street credibility, and makes her seem younger, maybe cooler. The same kind of reason Madonna is constantly collaborating with young artists. On the other hand, for Nicki, at that time, she was not a mainstream success. So working with someone like Mariah Carey raised and elevated her profile as well. So I think for both of the women, it was a very mutually beneficial relationship.
I think with Mariah Carey reaching out to Nicki, you know, although she's an established superstar, multiple Grammys, #1s, you know, she has to keep having this dynamic where she has to be hot and now and in the know and be cool and everything. And so, you know, she was reaching out to Nicki for help. And I think from there, if people didn't buy into the fact that she was about to blow up, at that moment, we have kind of one of the most iconic singers in U.S. history reaching out to the young hip hop girl. That was a moment that kind of cemented the fact that, like, this thing's about to be huge.
And with this more widespread exposure came a recognition of just how unique this newcomer was. Now a very different artist than the young MC from the Come Up DVDs, Nicki had developed several distinctive characters in her music and appearances. And these alter egos will become key to her growing appeal.
Well, for most pop stars, you know, you think about like Britney Spears or Christina Aguilera, they are themselves the character that you're watching. With Nicki Minaj, you are watching a variety of different people. You know, you have Harajuku Barbie, you have Martha Zelansky, you have Roman Zelansky, who's a gay, angry man who lives in Frankfurt. You have the Martha character who has a British accent. You know, it's a wide range of personalities and characters. I think as talented as she is as a rapper, Nicki is first and foremost a performer.
It's interesting, like the Posse record is so popular in hip hop. You take a song and you have so many different personalities coming into the song. And while Nicki Minaj has benefited from those type of songs because she's appeared on so many of them, she really doesn't need to. She can do it all herself because she goes into so many different personalities. She's not just one rapper. She's like a Wu-Tang Clan in herself.
That's a big part of her work, is the fact that she's able to slip in and out of different personas and to play different characters through her emceeing. And that's something I think that's very specific to her background in acting and role playing and fantasy and so on. And that's part of what makes her emceeing and rapping so fascinating, is because it sounds kind of schizo. She sounds soft and gentle at one point, but the next point she sounds kind of macho and aggressive. And it's because she's embodying all of these different personas.
Is there a precedent in pop music or in hip hop for creating alter egos and creating personas? Sure, absolutely. David Bowie switched personas when he switched styles. He didn't usually do it in the space of the same song. But in hip hop, sure, there's Eminem and Slim Shady and Marshall Mathers, and they're all the same guy. But as far as the Eminem comparison goes, Slim Shady is very clearly Marshall Mathers' it, or his deepest, darkest impulses, his desires run wild and enacted. You know, if Marshall Mathers has an angry thought, Slim Shady says it. Nicki, that's some split personality stuff. Because I'm theatrically trained, I'm going to invent characters and inhabit them. And by the way, one of them is my gay alter ego, Roman. When Nicki creates personas, it's crazy. Is there a precedent for it? Yes. At the same time, no. No one's ever taken things quite this far.
By the second half of 2010, Nicki and her bizarre cast of characters were beginning to appear on major releases by the biggest stars in music. And even though she was only a guest vocalist, she nearly always stole the show.
Her collaboration rise was really broken into kind of like two sets, right? Like there was the Robin Thicke, Trey Songz, and Mariah Carey wave. Kind of like wave one, it was like, oh, Nicki's doing good, she's in here. Wave two kind of was Ludacris, My Chick Bad, Usher, Little Freak, and then her collaboration with Kanye West on Monster. When you have your moment in the sun, you need to shine bright. And Nicki was burning like white hot at that time. The Jay-Z and Kanye West collaboration for Nicki, that's really what set it over the top. You know, you have Jay-Z, greatest MC in hip hop history. Kanye West, best guy who's out right now. So they do the song Monster. Kanye kills it, Jay-Z kills it, you know, and then Nicki comes on and it's like, what the is this?
Let me get this straight. Wait, I'm the rookie with my features and my shows 10 times your pay. 50K for a verse, no album out. Yeah, my money's so tall that my Barbie gotta climb it. Hotter than the Middle East and climb it. Find it.
Everybody walked away from that song, hugely anticipated album it came from, and nobody's talking about Kanye West. Nobody's talking about Jay-Z. Everybody's talking about Nicki Minaj.
Having whetted the public's appetite with her impressive guest appearances, in April 2010, her debut solo single, Massive Attack, was released. Yet after all the attention and the hype surrounding her, it failed to make any real impact.
Leading up to Nicki's debut, she had this run where every guest appearance was just, she was on fire. Just, you know, she did this, everybody's buzzing and talking about it. She did this song, everybody's talking about it. And I think the strategy behind Massive Attack and kind of the first offering from her project was this idea of how do we create something new and kind of distance ourselves away from these collaborations to show, hey, I can stand on my own 2 feet. And I think when everybody was looking for a continuation of that, I think there was a conscious decision to be, well, let's get them from here when they're not looking. And if we can do both of these, pow, watch out.
Tam like in Lebanon, hotter than in Pakistan. Click, 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 young Nick, the atomic bomb. Yeah, see it then you lick your tongue. Good.
Massive Attack was not that. There was some dissonance there. It wasn't really coherent kind of song. For what it's worth, the video, again, where she looked incredible, Amber Rose was in it. You know, I think that saved it to a degree. But in terms of what she tried to do, you know, it was a massive flop.
We got tom-toms over here, bigger than a monster.
She'd done so many mixtapes. She'd appeared as a cameo artist on so many tracks. And so there was a sense that this first single that she was going to release from her first solo album had to be huge, had to be big, had to engage all these different characters that she'd embodied. And it was a real letdown for a lot of people. It's produced by Alex the Kid and Sean Garrett, who are very popular hip hop and pop producers and R&B producers. But the track itself didn't do that well. It only went to number 22 in the Billboard Top 100. It had a very kind of aggressive, chaotic beat, but you lacked the melodic sense. And I think she learned in her later singles to really strike that balance better.
Even if the single failed to propel Nicki directly into the mainstream, she was still continuing to build a significant fan base, especially online. Since her first New York Live appearance in 2004, which she sold out for promoting it on MySpace, Nicki was well aware of the importance of connecting to her audience through the internet.
In this current climate where digital media is king, you have to know your market, how to communicate with them quickly and faster than your record company can. And direct communication is what it's all about. And she very cleverly tapped into that and broke herself as an artist, established her own market without a record company, and was able to fill a venue and outsell it just by her MySpace. And that's the kind of power of that direct communication with your fan. And I think she very cleverly knows how to do that.
She's really actually a modern lesson in what social media, starting with MySpace, could do for you. Before her album came out, she tweeted to her fans, please pre-order my album on Amazon. And it went immediately from 504 to number 4. Immediately.
Calling her fans barbs, Nikki has managed to fully involve this growing audience in her world. From the music to the various characters to her own unique vocabulary and phrases. From MySpace through to Facebook and then Twitter, Nikki's barbs have been able to follow her career and her creative vision and feel like they're truly connected to their idol.
She knows how to engage her fans. She's not the first person to come up with a name for her fans, but she calls them the barbs. She's always talking to her fans. She's responding to them.
Okay,
I think that's another
peace
reason why
out.
people really just latch on to her, but she's good with like giving advice and encouragement and saying positive things to her fans that they love it. And I think it's really a great way for her to create more interest in her work.
She's very active on Twitter. That's where she interacts with her fan base, who she's named the Barbs. There's a lot of this now. Rihanna has the Rihanna Navy. You know, these fan bases that they think of themselves as a group. They give themselves a name. They're an army, a fan army. And when things go wrong and she withdraws from Twitter, you know, the world seems to stop. Like, she deleted her Twitter account. That was a story on the news. I mean, come on. But it was.
With her base of loyal barbs growing, Nikki followed the disappointment of Massive Attack with a number of singles that showed her range as an artist, including the less abrasive Your Love and the R&B ballad Right Through Me. And although these were minor hits in the US, it was the single Check It Out with will.i.am that finally brought her to the attention of international audiences.
One of the things that will.i.am has done really successfully is he's taken hip hop to all kinds of new levels of accessibility and mainstream status by incorporating sounds into hip hop that probably hadn't been there previously, such as European dance music and so on. The Black Eyed Peas in the 2000s really merged European dance music and house music and dance sounds with hip hop in a way that was really novel and really innovative. And that collaboration between Nicki Minaj and will.i.am, and Check It Out, was novel because of that.
All these haters mad because I'm so established. They know I'm a beast, yeah, I'm a fucking savage. Haters, you could kill yourself.
Here is Nicki Minaj, this developing solo artist, working with one of the great hip hop producers, and particularly the guy who's really been able to merge those worlds of hip hop and dance pop in a way that very few others had.
Hey, check it out, 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 check it out.
Check It Out, and that collaboration with will.i.am, she found the thing that was different from her string of guest appearances. It was a nice blend of this very poppy top 40 kind of dance song. And you have will.i.am, sort of the king of top 40, and gathering that mix of the Starbucks crowd and the dance crowd. And then Nicki, she easily fit into that, just the sing-song flow. She has a great voice. And then she could still be tough enough to kick a rhyme here too, where she didn't alienate the previous base of people who helped her reach where she was.
With her solo career slowly gathering momentum, outside of her music, Nicki was also managing to attract attention. If her singles weren't transforming her into a household name, on the red carpet, her unusual outfits were making the headlines.
There are a lot of people who know who Nicki Minaj is who don't listen to Nicki Minaj's music. And that's because of the way that Nicki looks. Nicki looks like a character from the Willy Wonka movie sometimes. Nicki looks like Donatella Versace had a really bad dream. It looks awesome too.
I think it's like a little girl with a pen and a pencil, and I'm going to create what I can today, go make it, and I'm going to wear it. Like she says, it's fun, it's girly, it's playful, I'm just having fun. If you want a mass appeal, you do have to stand out in this market that is saturated. What Nicki Minaj has very cleverly done is create herself her own niche. I'm going to fuse this, I'm going to fuse that, and I'm going to take this, and I'm going to take that, and I'm going to be extremely expressive, and I'm going to take everything to the extreme. I'm going to have the biggest hair and the biggest shoes. And I do like the way she doesn't take herself too seriously. I mean, you can't when you've got an accessory that goes down to your foot that has a tail and looks like an animal.
This extreme visual image inevitably saw Nicki being compared to the other outrageous female pop icon of modern times, Lady Gaga.
You know, if you talk to Nicki about it, she'll get upset if she doesn't like it. And I think, you know, that's the nature of any superstar. There's a bit of ego, there's some, you know, territorial nature of your talent, your skill, your moment, what you're doing. And, you know, I can see why she wouldn't want that, because that just makes her the second Lady Gaga and not the first Nicki Minaj. But I think the comparisons are inevitable, from the wigs and the hair color. You know, Lady Gaga has her monsters, Nicki Minaj has her Barbies. There's a lot of examples. Has Nicki been inspired by Lady Gaga? Did she see that example and what made her a superstar? Yes. Is it a bad decision? No. I mean, I think it's very wise if you look at pop culture landscape. Lady Gaga herself, you know, she sampled and remixed Madonna.
But I think from the outside, when people don't get to know me and they don't know how layered I am and they don't really know my music and they just see someone that's dressing, you know, crazy, they think, oh, you're this one or you're that one, you're trying to be this one. But I'm just doing me.
I don't think Nicki has stolen her thing from Gaga any more than I think she's stolen it from Gwen Stefani. Do I think she's been influenced by either of them, that she knows who they are, that she's paid attention? Probably. Do I think she could have gotten the mainstream success or attention that she's gotten without Gaga or Gwen Stefani softening the ground, as it were? No, probably not. I don't think Nicki could have gotten as far as she has on her own. That said, I think she's gotten there because of her own unique sensibility. I don't think her sensibility is Gaga's sensibility.
In terms of her personal influences, Nicki is influenced by Jay-Z and by Lauryn Hill and by pop artists like Natasha Bedingfield. The list goes on and on. Immediately, you can see that there's some similarities between Nicki Minaj and hip-hop artists like Missy Elliott. Foxy Brown is somebody that Nicki Minaj cites a lot. So the point is, there's a lot of different influences that Nicki Minaj embodies, and it's not fair just to say she's a Black Lady Gaga. I think it's way too reductive. But at the same time, it's also not to deny Lady Gaga's influence in the culture, that she was able to create a space in which Nicki Minaj could then operate.
Unlike Lady Gaga, one influence was very vocal about her belief that Nicki Minaj had simply stolen her act. Lil' Kim, the former queen of hip-hop. A bitter war of words followed that eventually saw the two publicly feuding and attacking each other through their lyrics.
At the time Nicki Minaj came to prominence, Lil' Kim had been absent from the charts for a long time, and very often one of the ways that new hip-hop artists establish their identities is to start a beef with an artist who has aspects or elements that this new artist also embodies. For Nicki Minaj, that was really about starting this beef with Lil' Kim, and they certainly had one of the most public beefs and arguments in culture at that time. And some of it is based in truth. I think Lil' Kim was right to go after Nicki Minaj and say, hey, here are the aspects of my career that you are taking from.
On the surface, just on some hip hop stuff, it's like, oh, it's great. We got two people going against each other. And, you know, that's really kind of like the next challenge for Nicki, right? Like every great MC has been in a battle. MCs, Eminem, Nas, Jay-Z. So why wouldn't Nicki Minaj? I think she builds herself as an MC, not a female MC. So why wouldn't she accept the same challenge that any other rapper has? With that said, however, Lil' Kim's claims of Nicki Minaj are just ludicrous. Lil' Kim was huge. She was a big rapper. Everybody idolized her. Nicki Minaj is younger. Why wouldn't she idolize her? So, yeah, you know, she appropriated some of her style. Who doesn't? D'Angelo, Prince, you know what I mean? Michael Jackson, James Brown, Chris Brown, Usher. What Nicki did was no different. And then Nicki quickly found herself, as any great star does. Now you'll see Nicki knockoffs coming next.
And the whole Lil' Kim versus Nicki Minaj feud, I'm Team Kim, because Lil' Kim wasn't the first female rapper to flaunt her sexuality and beauty and have a stylist and change her hairstyle every day, this, that, and other. But I think because of the kind of things that she talked about, I think you can definitely trace a lot of that back to Lil' Kim. Lil' Kim was calling herself, you know, the Black Barbie. I mean, she has songs about it in the 90s. So I feel Lil' Kim, I think she just wanted Nicki Minaj to say, hey, I give Lil' Kim credit, for helping pave the way for me. I think if Nicki Minaj said a little more of that in the beginning, Lil' Kim probably would have backed down some. But because she didn't say it, and whatever, who knows what was going on behind the scenes with those two and their camps and their friends and so forth, I think that just added fuel to the fire. But I think Lil' Kim just wanted her to acknowledge, the ways in which she influenced Nicki Minaj's career.
Yet rather than damage Nicki's reputation, the feud simply raised her profile. And when her debut album, Pink Friday, was released in November 2010, the media hysteria surrounding her was reaching its peak. Selling more than 250,000 copies in its first week in the US, it launched Nicki's career into the stratosphere. Yet for an artist who had made her name as a ferocious MC, it was a multifaceted album that displayed the many sides to Minaj's talents.
It's a pop record. It's meant to be. It's a pretty killer pop record. At the same time, it's a different kind of hip-hop record or hip-hop is pop record than people had made before. Often enough, when hip-hop goes pop, it does it with two tracks that feel pasted onto a very traditional hip-hop record. Pink Friday is not that album. Pink Friday is the calculated work of someone who has seen a merger of pop styles and pop dance styles, club dance styles, and hip hop. She's not the only person who's seen this or done this, but most people doing this are coming at it from the R&B side, not the hip hop side.
And her hip hop credentials were perhaps the most surprising element of her huge success. After years without a prominent female MC competing at the top of the charts, Nicki Minaj had proven that women rappers could be just as confrontational as their male counterparts and still attract a broad audience.
I think Nicki really filled a void in the market for a really sassy, strong female voice in the rap community. I mean, we had Missy Elliott, but that was more than a decade ago, really around 2000. And, Lil' Kim never really attained the level that Nicki has by a long shot. And here you have Nicki, she's rapping with the kings in the field like Jay-Z and Kanye, and she is more than holding her own. I think there's a lot of women who want a voice. There's a lot of women out there who like this kind of music, who want to be able to express themselves and have their perspective heard. Now, we've heard a lot of men talking about bitches and hoes, but now we finally have a strong female voice expressing her side of the opinion. There was a real absence of that, and Nicki kind of stepped right in and in a very sassy way kind of took over.
You don't know what you need until it's there, and I don't think people were necessarily looking around saying, you got to get a female rapper. Through her success, now you see that coming through where, rap crews are looking for that first lady type. She created something that wasn't in the market space, which was, whether it was, you think it's a Black Lady Gaga or whether it's just the next iteration of the hip hop MC who's dope, sexual, but theatrical and also can make pop records. Now everybody thinks like, oh, we were missing this piece. And it's like, if you thought you were missing that piece, there's a lot of other talented MCs. You were missing, Nicki Minaj.
Hoping to follow up on the huge success of the album, further singles were released, including Moment for Life featuring Drake and Did It On 'Em. And although these fared respectably, Nicki was struggling to attain a true crossover hit. Yet in April 2011, her fortunes changed.
She had a rep in the hip-hop underground. She'd established herself as someone pop fans knew about, and then her own song started coming. And when the right song came, she was loaded for a hit record.
This one is for the boys with the booming system. Top town AC with the coolest system. When he come up in the club, he be blazing up. Got stacks on deck like he saving up. And he bails, he might got a nail.
Super Bass is a pretty incredible song, right? Like Super Bass, it sounds like Katy Perry. You can imagine Katy Perry doing it. Super Bass has that wide, broad sound that is perfect for top 40. But then she easily injects her DNA into the records. It's one part this, one part that, but together it's all Nicki. I think Super Bass is massive. I think it's a perfect example of what she should be doing. If you want to know why she's so hot, it's like, listen to that song. If you hear it in Jamaica Queen, young black girls, but then you could hear it in, the suburbs of Boston with sorority girls. Perfect record.
Yet the song's huge sales and crossover appeal were due in part to a young Grammy Award-winning country singer.
Nicki Minaj really owes Taylor Swift a big old bouquet of flowers because one of the reasons that she's as famous as she is because of Taylor Swift. Super Bass, which has become really Nicki's anthem. I mean, almost anyone in the world can hum that tune. It's a great song. Wasn't actually originally intended to be a massive hit by the record label. They didn't think that was going to be the song that it became. But Taylor Swift was a big fan of it, and she was on a radio station doing an interview for mainstream America. And she said, "Oh, I love this song. Will you play this song while I'm on the show?" And they did. And she knew all the words and she was rapping them out. And all of a sudden, the song was everywhere.
Having finally achieved the massive crossover success she'd been looking for, despite being edgy, controversial, and often sexually explicit in her lyrics, Nicki's appeal began to spread even further.
She wants to reach a different audience than rappers usually want to reach. She wants to reach girls and she wants to reach young girls. This is intentional. Boy bands go for that audience. Safe pop music goes for that audience. But Nicki, in modeling herself as the Harajuku Barbie, is specifically reaching out to that audience and at the same time saying, I have something new to show you. Yeah, Gwen Stefani has been there. She's been to that Japanese Harajuku thing before, but not for this audience of 14-year-olds.
Yet despite the young audience, Nicki's sensuality remains key to her appeal. As outrageous and bizarre as some of her outfits have been, since her early photo shoots and videos, she's also flaunted her voluptuous figure and become one of music's sexiest women.
She presents a very striking and alluring visual image. I mean, she's got very big breasts. She's got a very big behind. She's, traditionally a sort of kind of sexual figure, but at the same time, she can embody this kind of amazing aggressive masculinity in her emceeing and her rapping. She can take on the identity of a man in her work. She can go head to head with Jay-Z, Kanye West, Eminem, some of the great